Hi, so here I am, the guy who thought his marriage was rock solid, posting on a relationship advice subreddit like some click out of a late night drama. I'm 37, she's 35, and we've been married 7 years. No kids, just a house, 2 dogs, shared debt, shared dreams, and what I genuinely believed was loyalty. Over the last few months, something felt off. I couldn't explain it at first, just a weird, emotional distance. She got annoyed at tiny things, rolled her eyes when I talked, started working late at least 2 nights a week. She used to text me cute little updates throughout the day. Now half the time she wouldn't even reply, or I'd get a one-word answer that felt like a brick wall. I told myself it was stress, work pressure, burnout. That's what a good husband does, right? Gives the benefit of the doubt. But looking back, man, the signs were everywhere. The first thing that really punched me in the gut was her phone. She used to leave it anywhere: kitchen counter, couch, bathroom, whatever. Suddenly it was glued to her. Screen flipped down, notifications off. And God forbid I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd lock it instantly, like I was some burglar breaking in. When I asked if something was wrong, she snapped at me. Her exact words: "Not everything is about you. Stop being paranoid." That hit harder than I expected. I wasn't accusing her of anything. I just wanted my wife back. The woman who laughed at dumb memes with me and got excited about weekend plans. Now it felt like I was living with a stranger who couldn't stand the sight of me. A week later, another odd thing. She started dressing up way more for work. New clothes, new perfume, hair done every single morning. I complimented her, trying to be supportive. She shrugged and said, "It's called self-improvement. Maybe you should try it." It was said like a joke, but there was venom in it. That was the moment my stomach first twisted. The moment part of me whispered, something is wrong, but I pushed the thought away, because denial is a warm blanket, and I wrapped myself in it tightly. About a month ago, she told me she had a team dinner. Nothing unusual, she works in marketing, they do that sometimes, but something felt off. She changed outfits 3 times before she left. She sprayed a perfume she never wears around me anymore, and when I kissed her cheek goodbye, she flinched like my touch suddenly annoyed her. She got home at 1:17 a.m., not late, suspiciously late. I was awake on the couch pretending to be half asleep. She walked in, startled when she saw the lights still on. Her makeup was smudged, hair messy, not just had dinner messy, more like someone had their hands in it messy. I asked how dinner was. She didn't even sit down, just said, "Long. I'm exhausted. I don't want to talk." And she went straight to shower. Not the normal shower, the immediate kind. The one people take when they want to wash something away. I remember sitting there on the couch, heartbeat pounding, brain foggy. Part of me screaming that something was happening. Another part whispering, "Don't jump to conclusions. Trust her." But the truth didn't care about my denial. It was already on its way. 2 days after that team dinner, something happened I honestly wasn't prepared for. She left for work in a rush and forgot her smartwatch on the kitchen counter. She never forgets it, ever. It buzzed about 20 minutes after she left. I wasn't trying to snoop, I wasn't even near it. But the screen lit up, and a name popped up I didn't recognize. Evan, work message preview. Last night was insane. Round to tonight, my heart actually stopped. My hands shook. I swear it felt like blood left my entire body. I picked it up. I know some people will judge me, but the moment you see something like that, you're opening the message. You're going to read every word, and that's exactly what I did. There were dozens of messages, not work-related, not even close. There were jokes about me, about how clueless I was. Photos, nothing explicit, but intimate enough. Plans to meet again. Her saying she needed him. Every doubt I'd shoved down hit me at once. The late nights, the distance, the lies. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there in our quiet kitchen holding a piece of technology. That confirmed my marriage was no longer real. The worst part, my dogs came over and curled next to me like they knew something was wrong. It was the loneliest moment of my life. I didn't wait. Didn't plan some dramatic reveal. Didn't wait for the perfect moment. I called her while she was still driving to work. She picked up sounding annoyed right away. What now? No hi, no warmth. I didn't ease into it. I just said, "Who's Evan?" Dead silence. Then she laughed, this fake, sarcastic, blade-sharp laugh. "Are you seriously going through my stuff now?" God, you're pathetic. Not denial, not confusion, just immediate aggression and insult. I told her I saw the messages. Everything. Her story changed instantly. First, she said I misread it. Then she said they were just flirting. Then she said it was work jokes. Then she said it was nothing physical. For lies in 30 seconds. She couldn't keep her own story straight. When I mentioned the pictures and the late-night teen dinner, she snapped and yelled, "So what? You haven't been giving me attention for months. You pushed me away. This is on you." That was the moment the floor dropped out from under me. Not an apology, not even guilt, just blame, like I made her cheat. I told her to come home right then. She refused, said she at a meeting. Hung up on me. I sat on the edge of the bed staring at the phone, realizing the marriage I thought I had only existed in my head. She didn't come home until late that evening. No warning, no apology. Just walked in, saw me sitting at the kitchen table with her smartwatch next to me, and rolled her eyes like I was the inconvenience. The moment she opened her mouth, I realized she'd spent the entire day preparing her defense. She walked past me, grabbed a soda from the fridge, leaned against the counter, and said in this icy, bored voice, "If you're going to act like a jealous child, maybe we should just take a break from our marriage." Because I caught her cheating, I asked her one last time to be honest. Just tell me the truth. Give me something real to work with. She didn't budge. Instead, she said, "You've been distant. You've gained weight. You never plan anything anymore. What did you think would happen?" Every sentence felt like a punch, not because the words were true but because she wanted them to hurt. I told her I wasn't doing this blame game. I told her I knew about the photos, the messages, the meetings, and that's when she finally snapped, "Fine, yes, we're seeing each other. Happy now? Maybe he treats me better than you ever did." She said it without a single tear, without hesitation, like it was nothing. Then she walked to the living room, turned on the TV, and acted like the conversation was over. And I just sat there stunned. I always imagined if something like this happened, there'd be crying or apologies or begging or something. Not this cold, numb indifference. Not the complete lack of remorse. That was the moment I realized I wasn't losing the woman I loved. I already lost her a long time ago. I wish I could say I stayed calm. I didn't. Something in me cracked wide open. 7 years of loyalty, trust, shared life reduced to her shrugging on the couch watching reality TV like she didn't just nuke our marriage. I stood in front of the screen and said, "We're not done." She didn't even look up at me. Just said, "Moo. I'm trying to relax." After admitting she was cheating, I grabbed the remote and shut the TV off. That got her attention. She jumped up and started yelling loud, telling me I was overreacting, that it wasn't a big deal, that she still cared about me but I couldn't handle a little fun. My hands were shaking so hard I had to put them in my pockets. I asked if she loved him. She scoffed and said, "Love, please. It's just better than coming home to this depressing house." That one hurt in a way I didn't even know was possible. She started packing a bag like she'd been waiting for this moment. Clothes, makeup, chargers. She even took the nice pillow from our bed like that mattered. I asked where she was going. She said, "Out. Anywhere but here. Don't wait up." She brushed past me, slammed the door, and drove off. No apology, no hesitation, just gone. And there I was, standing alone in the doorway of the house we built together, holding car keys I suddenly didn't recognize and feeling like the ground had disappeared. That was the night the future I thought I had died. The house was so quiet after she left that it didn't feel like a home anymore. It felt like a crime scene. I wandered from room to room in circles, not even knowing what I was looking for. Maybe proof this was all some nightmare I'd wake up from. Her jacket on the chair, her shoes by the door, her half-finished coffee mug in the sink. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt the same. I finally sat on the living room floor with our two dogs curled up against me. They kept nudging my hands like they were trying to ask if I was okay. And that was the moment it hit me. I wasn't angry anymore. I was just broken. My phone buzzed around 1 a.m. I thought stupidly that maybe it was her. Maybe she'd changed her mind. Maybe she'd realized what she'd done. But no, it was a text from her. "Don't wait up. I'm staying with a friend." A friend, right. I asked which friend. No answer. I called her, straight to voicemail. I shouldn't have been surprised, but somehow I still was. I kept replaying every moment of our marriage trying to figure out when I became someone she could treat like this. And the worst part, there was nothing I could do. No fight to pick. No explanation to demand. Just silence, and the kind of loneliness that doesn't feel like being alone, it feels like being abandoned. That night, I slept on my side of the bed out of habit. Her side stayed cold and empty, and for the first time, I wondered if it would stay that way. She came home the next afternoon like nothing happened. No apology, no explanation. Just walked in wearing different clothes, makeup smudged, hair messy, and tossed her bag on the couch. I asked where she'd been. She saw it, rolled her eyes, and said, "I told you, a friend's place. Stop acting like my dad." That hit me wrong. I told her I deserved honesty. She told me I was being dramatic. Then this is the part that made my stomach twist. She grabbed her phone, turned away from me, and started typing fast, like she had to hide it. I said, "Is that him?" She didn't answer. I reached for the phone. She yanked it away like it was a grenade I might pull the pin on. And then she snapped, "It's my life. I don't need to report to you every second." That was the first time I raised my voice. I told her she didn't get to act like a single person while wearing a wedding ring. She laughed, actually laughed, and said, "Maybe the ring doesn't mean anything anymore." That was it. The truth, blunt, cruel, impossible to unhear. I asked if she wanted to fix this, counseling, separation, anything. She shrugged and said, "Honestly, I don't know. I'm happier when I'm not here." That sentence went through me like a knife. She didn't pack a bag this time. She didn't storm out. She just walked into the bedroom and closed the door. And I realized something I never thought I'd admit. It's possible to lose someone who's still standing right in front of you. The bedroom door stayed shut for hours. No talking, no movement, just silence. I sat in the living room, staring at the wall, replaying everything she'd said. The worst part wasn't the cheating. It was realizing she genuinely didn't care. At around 10 p.m., she came out, grabbed a snack from the kitchen, and started scrolling on her phone like we were roommates who had argued about dishes. Not a married couple whose life had just imploded. I told her we needed to talk. She saw it, walked past me, and said, "Can we not do this right now? I'm tired." I told her she didn't have a choice anymore, not after admitting she was seeing someone else. She crossed her arms and said, "Fine. You want honesty? I like being with him. He makes me feel wanted, and I don't feel that here." It was like she'd been waiting to say it. Something in me went numb. Not angry, just done. I said, "If that's how you feel, then we should separate." She blinked, surprised. She didn't think I'd ever say it. And suddenly she switched tones like flipping a switch. "You're overreacting. You're being emotional. This isn't that serious. We can just reset." Reset. Like cheating was a computer glitch. I told her I'd talk to a lawyer. She scoffed and said, "Good luck. I'm not leaving the house." So I grabbed my keys, wallet, and the dog's leashes, and I left. Not forever, just for air, for space, for sanity. I drove until the city lights disappeared and pulled into a dark parking lot behind a closed grocery store. The dog sat in the backseat quietly. I stared at the steering wheel and realized I wasn't afraid of losing her anymore. I was afraid of losing myself if I stayed. After a few days of living in this weird suspended reality, I knew I had to make choices, hard ones. I started with the small things, changing the locks, packing my personal stuff into boxes, and finding a friend's couch to crash on for a few nights. Every item I packed felt like a tiny victory, a reclaiming of my life. I also realized I couldn't keep torturing myself with what-ifs. I blocked her on everything. Number messages, no notifications, no peeking at social media. It felt drastic, but I needed distance to think, to breathe, to start putting myself back together. I started journaling again, writing down what happened, how I felt, what I feared. The words came out raw and ugly: anger, hurt, shame, but also clarity. I noticed patterns. Her lies, her manipulations, her refusal to take responsibility. And for the first time, I acknowledged something I'd ignored for years. I couldn't fix her. I could only fix me. Therapy came next, sitting with a professional, talking about every twisted little detail of the past weeks. Made me confront feelings I'd been bottling up. Guilt, shame, self-doubt, but also strength. Recognition that this betrayal, as devastating as it was, didn't define me. And slowly, I started thinking about the future, not her, not us. Not the marriage that had collapsed, but me, who I wanted to be after this. The first real victory came quietly quietly. I took the dogs on long walks without thinking about her. I drove to places I hadn't been in years. I cooked my own meals without anyone criticizing or rolling their eyes. It felt normal, and it felt like freedom. I started reconnecting with friends I'd ignored while trying to keep the marriage afloat. Lunches, coffees, long talks, people who reminded me I wasn't alone, that I was worth more than the betrayal I'd endured. I even started exercising again, not to impress anyone, not to get back at her but for me. Running until my legs burned, weightlifting until I could feel the strength in my arms. Every drop of sweat was like washing off a layer of the grief and anger that had clung to me. One night, I realized I hadn't cried in 3 days. And when I did, it was different, less helpless, more cleansing. I was grieving the loss of the marriage, yes, but I was also acknowledging that I was still here. Still me, still capable of moving forward. It wasn't happiness yet, not by a long shot, but it was peace, small and shaky, like the first steps after falling into a pit. And for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could climb out. A few weeks later, I finally had the conversation I'd been avoiding. She called out of the blue, asking if we could talk about everything. My first instinct was to hang up, but I didn't. I agreed this time on my terms, at a neutral place, a small cough neither of us usually went to. She arrived late, of course. Same smug expression, like she thought she still had control. But I'd changed. The nervous, desperate guy from a month ago wasn't there anymore. I laid it out calmly. What I knew, how I felt, and what I needed. Not begging, not accusing, just facts and emotions. Her response? Lies, excuses, shifting blame. Classic, but this time I didn't argue. I just listened, nodded, and when she paused, I said something I never imagined I'd be able to say. I've realized something. I can't be in this marriage anymore. I need to move forward alone. I hope you find what you're looking for, but it's not with me. She looked shocked, maybe even a little scared. No tears, no pleas, just silence. And for the first time, it felt like my decision mattered. Like the power she had wielded through lies and betrayal was finally gone. I left the cough feeling light. Scared, yeah. Sad, sure. But free. For the first time in weeks, I believed I could survive this and eventually, maybe even thrive. It's been a few months now. The raw pain has dulled, though it hasn't disappeared. Some nights I still wake up thinking about her, about what could have been, about the betrayal. But those moments pass faster now, replaced by a quiet strength I didn't know I had. I've learned some hard truths. Trust isn't optional. Once it's broken, rebuilding it is a monumental task. Denial only prolongs the pain. Ignoring red flags doesn't make them disappear. Self-respect matters more than love. Loving someone who doesn't respect you is self-destructs. Grief takes time, but so does healing. You don't need to rush either. If there's advice I can give to anyone in a similar situation, it's this: don't stay for the idea of love, stay for the reality of it. Don't let guilt or nostalgia trap you in a relationship that diminishes you. And never ever let someone else's lies redefine your worth. I'm rebuilding slowly, deliberately. I've picked up old hobbies, reconnected with friends, started therapy. And yes, I'm even dating casually again. Nothing serious yet, but that's okay. I'm learning to enjoy my own company first. The marriage ended. The betrayal hurt like hell. But in the ashes of that pain, I found myself again. And I know now, I'm stronger than I ever realized, and it'll never let anyone make me feel powerless in my own life again. That's all. Subscribe to this channel and click the like and subscribe button.